Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Dadpuzzles. Today we have a father in the house, Mr. Erik Allen. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir.
Oh man, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on your show, man. It's truly an honor.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, sir. We are honored to have you here, sir. Briefly, like about Mr. Erik Allen, he's coming from, he the way his bio he states that he's coming from a broken home. He beat his mom's boyfriend up with a cast iron pan for hitting her when he was 13, and he was jailed at 18, bankrupt at 21, battled addictions, gave my life to Christ in 2004, now breaking chains of divorce, abuse, rejection, and addiction. Married for 18 plus years, sober for 18 plus years. I have a media here. I should be making use of it. There we go. Absolutely. So, and then he's been a host of the Erik Allen Show, ranked number 133 on the U.S. Apple Entrepreneur Chart in January 2021, and ranked number 202 on the UK Apple Entrepreneur Chart in October 2021. So he helps entrepreneurs get known and noticed online, featured on NASDAQ, dropping bombs with Brad Lear, Newswire magazine, and many more. Being a guest on 150 plus podcasts, talking about working hard there, my friend. Yes, sir.
For
And
sure, yeah.
so he can share his story and talk about morning routines, how he get up at 4 a.m. every 6 days a week, and also being consistent and getting around the right people, networking, podcasting, and more. So prior guests on his podcast include Ed Milet, Sean Wallen, Ken Shamrock, hardcore closer Ryan, Stuman, Eric Legrand, Team Story, Jim the Rookie Morris, Zachary Babcock, Bradley. List goes on and on and on. And sir, we are so lucky to have you. And actually, something that you should probably, I can start maybe first of all, like where are you coming from, like where you from and such.
Yeah, man. I mean, I currently live out in Idaho, tucked up in the mountains, and love it up here, man. It's freedom up here, man. We don't have to worry about anything that the government's wanting to do. So
There you go. Okay.
we
Okay.
didn't get the whole COVID thing or anything like that. None of that happened up here. So, but yeah, that's where I live now. But it's fun, man. I grew up in Eastern Washington, about 4 hours from here.
Okay.
And when I was 11 years old, my parents got divorced. Never heard of that word before. And so I started didn't know what to do really. Like I was like, oh my gosh, what does that actually mean? My parents getting divorced, and then I
Right.
ended up living with my mom, and she got together with a guy who was very physically abusive. And you touched base on that, when I was 13, I actually fought him with a cast iron pan. He was hitting her, and I stopped him from probably beating her to death at that point.
Right.
And it was a moment that I thought I was a hero. And what ended up happening was, a few months later, I was kicked out of that house. I had to live with my buddy for part of my freshman year of high school up in Stevensville, Montana, where I lived at that moment. And that really set me on a path of destruction for the next 10 years of my life, where I just wandered the world, and I battled addictions, and I battled, filling a void of pain with drugs, alcohol, women,
Right.
overspending on money, wherever I could fill this void at. And when I was 18 years old, I got kicked out of my dad's house 2 weeks after I graduated high school. And then I basically was homeless for 2 years. Between the age of 18 and 21, I moved 21 times.
Wow.
And just living on a couch here, a couch there, and living on a basement, floor here.
Mm-hmm.
And, it wasn't until 2004, I was working in the music business. Actually, 2003, I was working in the music business. And it was my dream job to work in the music business. I don't know how to play anything, but I wanted to be behind the scenes and
Right.
work for Universal Records and live in that rock star lifestyle. I was out drinking every night, 2 to 3 concerts, a week, and woke up, to an email from the boss man that said, "Hey, unfortunately, ties, we have to cut everybody. The budget's cut." And so I was the bottom man on the totem pole, so I got laid off.
Oh man.
Started work for Starbucks, and I was like, hey, this is a, decent job, but I didn't see myself like moving up the ladder. It was just this thing that was paying the bills.
Right.
And I was working one night and a girl walked in, doesn't even drink coffee. And she said, hey, we've got a cool college age event down at our church. Would you be interested in going? And for me, I have no friends. I'm depressed and she's good looking. Yep. What time do I need to be there? And so I ended up going to this church event, and I really feel like that was the first step of God really starting to plant in my life. Right. And I ran into guys that I had known from 4 or 5 years earlier from the other side of the state, man, and running into them at this church service. And it was like, dude, what are you doing here? It's just this odd, sort of like connection. And then a month later, it was Easter 2004. I woke up after a night of partying with some friends, right, Easter morning, and felt like God was saying, dude, you're going down this path that's going to end your life real quick. Right. And so it was in that moment that I gave my life to Christ right then and there in my buddy's basement. And I just said, Lord, I'm done. And I quit cold turkey, drugs, drinking, cigarettes, everything in that moment. Right. And I called that girl up and I got her voicemail and I said, hey, happy Easter. Maybe I'll see you at the store sometime. Mm-hmm. And a month later we were dating, and she's now my wife of 18 plus years.
Wow, congratulations. I'm so happy that you had a rescue plan from, because, these are things that, like once you start that path, like you mentioned, the end was not going to be good. It's definitely going to be something horrible. And I'm happy that you're around to get the help, because, it's been a tough, like a tough raising that you had, like I'm sorry that you experienced all this,
Yeah.
Did you ever get to make up with your dad? Like after.
Yeah. So, I've had deep conversations with my mom about the past, and had really kind of had my early 40s had to go through this unforgiveness that I felt like I had forgiven them, but I was really kind of just battling up, right? And it wasn't until recently that I really started to go, okay, I do need to truly forgive them for that. And that's a tough thing to do when you go through trauma and drama and all of that stuff. Absolutely. But I'll tell you, it was a weight off my shoulders. Mm-hmm. And I really just said, hey, I have to take a break. I forgive you. I want you to know that. I forgive you for the things that you put me through and you had me experience. Right. I made a lot of my own choices, though, after that. Like I made choices that, I take responsibility for that stuff. But I need to take a break away from having you in my life at this time. I need to grow me personally. I need to grow my walk with Christ. I need to grow my wife with my kids. That is my priority, not my mom, not my dad, anything like that. But I had to build myself up and really spend some time in prayer of, man, God, I need your help to forgive this, right? And so it wasn't until recently that I really had this weight taken off my shoulders.
Absolutely. So I think that one thing that probably we can share with dads, like that we can get help through our spiritual journey. Like no matter what your faith background is coming from, you should look into that if you're going through struggles in life. Because this will provide you like a newfound therapy that that is there, is available, is free, and is is higher up than what we're going through in life. So this is beautiful. And also another thing I'm thinking, maybe like parents that they can learn from this is forgiveness. When we let things go, it's really it minimizes a lot of stress in our lives. So this is a beautiful thing that you shared with us. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, and it really it is. Unforgiveness is something that I think it eats at all of us, right? We deal with that forgiveness, like, oh, I don't know if I should forgive them for what they did, and right. When you just hold on to that, and I've heard it said, like, you're basically you're holding that weight on for too long, man, and it's going to affect your life, even though it's happened many, many years ago, right? Like it'll continue to fight with you until you find that forgiveness. And for me, the way that I kind of figured out like how to get away from the drugs, the addiction, and all of that cold turkey was I had to surround myself with guys that were living the life that I wanted to live. So I found guys in the church that had great businesses, great marriages, great relationship with their wives and their kids, and great relationship with Christ. And I just started sponging off of them. I mean, I was like, I want to take you to Starbucks. I want to understand your story. I want to understand what you're doing to live this life. And in those conversations, that's what really helped me grow in my relationship with Christ, because I was replacing that yuck with just love and relationships, and I was being fed, but I was also just learning. And I think if you want to make a change in your life, man, you've got to surround yourself with folks that are living the life that you want to live.
Yeah. So you gotta move from that surrounding for sure. You cannot say I quit drugs and your friend the friend that you use drug with is still around your life. You're just gonna somehow go back to that. So thank you so much for sharing this. We have to let things to let go of like all the dramas or problems that we have with people, even like in your family. If you have a problem with your wife, for instance, you can let go and start over. This is always a good thing. Don't be nagging. Don't be holding things up. That grudge is not good.
Right.
So, brother, you're just there's so much. We are learning so much from you just at the beginning. So let's try to go into what we had planned to talk to you about today. I know we don't have much time.
Yeah.
Let's try to give our listeners some more, good info that they can learn about you, sir. So, what is, so far, what's your insights on branding, networking, and consistency? Because so far, the consistency has been like really your motto, because, when you're consistent, you see the results.
Yep.
So maybe like you can talk to us briefly, how's your routine in the morning, so that maybe dads, they can copy that and be, consistent and productive.
Man, find a time that works best for you to wake up. I'm an early morning person, and I get up at 4 a.m. Not that everybody needs to go out and do that, but I wake up at 4 a.m. personally. And for me, I immediately go into gratefulness. So when I open my eyes, before I even get out of bed, my initial thought and my initial prayer is, man, God, thank you for another day to give so that I can see and hug and hold my family. And then I jump out of bed and I make my bed. So in my mind, I've already got 2 wins for the day. I'm already stacking those wins. Right. I'm alive and I made my bed. Boom, right there. My brain is already going, okay, now we're collecting wins, right? And so for me, I like to work out. So I've built a home gym over the last 10 years. So I go downstairs and I hit up the gym for an hour to an hour and a half. I get the muscles flowing, right? And the blood's flowing. And then come upstairs, and really important part for me, the non-negotiable part for me, is spending time in prayer. And for me, I love music. So I come in and I turn on some worship music, and then I immediately go into prayer. And prayer for me is very much a gratefulness prayer. Like, man, thank you for another day. Thank you for blessing me with financially, for my family, for health, right? All of that goes into prayer, just gratefulness mode. And then reading the Bible and reading a Proverbs a day and really kind of studying that whole process is probably 15, 20 minutes. I don't spend hours in meditation and prayer, but that helps me really get into the right flow of things as I get into the day. And so I think it's so important to have a routine. If you don't have a routine, you're going to walk into your office or walk into your day having no idea what you're doing, and you're going to get distracted by this thing in our pocket called a phone, by Facebook and Instagram and all of that. Right. So I would write down, like at night, like before I go to bed, what are the things I need to hit in the first thing in the morning? And so when I get to my desk, I've got a to-do list of what I need to do. And so I'm not lost. I'm not getting distracted. I know exactly what I need to do. So morning routine is so important. Stick to those things. Again, whether you wake up early in the morning or you're a night person, figure out what that routine is, and that's what will help you in your position.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is very helpful, and we truly appreciate that. So, I know you have had so many guests in your podcast. What is the one? I know this is a tough spot. They won't hear it. But what's your most? What's something that stands out that you remember like immediately? Like, okay, yeah, this lesson from this particular guest was so useful to yourself as a dad, etc.
For me, Jim the Rookie Morris. If you ever saw the movie The Rookie, it's on Disney. That's who I talk to, the real life rookie. So that movie is based off Jim the Rookie Morris. He is a Christian Christ follower, and his story is unbelievable. He had Parkinson's, and he told me the story, and it's in his book, Dream Make. Gosh, I'm forgetting the title of it now, but his newest book, he really goes into Parkinson's and his journey through that, and really relying on Christ. But he tells a story, and he lives in Texas, so he's got property, and he's got this barn, and he's out in the garage, and he's working out, and he hears this voice that said, like, where he actually thought someone was physically telling him. But he said that you've been healed. And he heard that, and he's like, he thought someone was playing a joke. He heard it twice while he's in the gym, and he's like going, what in the world? And so he walks out of his barn, and he literally sees this vision of like these gray feathers on the ground outside of his Texas barn, and he doesn't understand what's going on. But he is able to walk inside, and he feels healed from Parkinson's, which is very, very unbelievable, right? Like craziness. And he goes in and he talks to his wife, and he says, look, and he can spin a circle, standing, in a circle, spin a circle without falling over. And he's never been able to do that. And he really, truly felt like God had healed him from Parkinson's. And he goes to the doctor, they run tests, and they go, I don't know what to tell you, but you don't have Parkinson's anymore. And that story, when he told me that and the impact that had on his life, man, that hit home for me. Like, I was like, just the power of Christ, man, healing him from that and giving him this vision. And he didn't understand what the feathers was, but he just knew that he was walking into something that he had felt healed. And that story, man, was just unbelievable.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. So what's the, we can touch, here at, Dadpuzzles, that try to, have people's backgrounds, so that, like what we talked about, like a little bit about yourself, and what is, like inspires you, because maybe, and also what you do in terms of the career and stuff, because all those things, they can motivate fathers in their own lives as well. But also the second part that I like to like touch base, about is about, some few questions about fatherhood. For instance, how do you balance the career and your family duties?
It's a tough question, man, because I think a lot of people will look at this differently. Like, as a dad, we want to be the provider, right? And so sometimes that requires us to work hard, right? And sometimes that, unfortunately, we have to sacrifice time so that we can provide for our family, because we are out trying to make money, right? So that we can pay bills, etc.
Absolutely.
And that's a heavy burden that a lot of men feel, and I've felt it for many, many years. I've been blessed now to work from home since 2015. Okay. And so my kids have only known me really since just working from home. They thought my first podcast was my career. It was called the Top Rated MMA. And so they always thought that was my job. I just did podcasting and all that. And now they know that I work for a full-time, I'm a full-time career guy, right? But I run a podcast, et cetera, on the side. Right. But the way to balance that is you've got to have the non-negotiables. So for me, the non-negotiables are, I'm not missing a kid's play, baseball game, audition, any of that. My family will always come before my job, ever, like forever. And I made that decision hard in the sand when I interviewed with the folks that that I work for, right? So I said, look, here's the deal. I will give you 100% while I'm on the clock. But I will also tell you right now, my family will come first. I will walk away from $1 million deal if my family's hurt, if my family's got a game, I'm going to do that. So you have to have that non-negotiable.
Absolutely.
Jobs will come and go. Money will come and go. But your time with your family is limited. Right. And so for men, I think the way that I've been able to help balance that is when I get off work, I try to turn this phone off. I put it away. Now, I'm not 100% perfect. But I really try to be present with my family. Right. When I get off work, it's dinner time. We're hanging out. Like, we're playing games. We might do some Nintendo Switch racing. Like, we might watch a movie. Last night, we all went and watched our neighbor went and played he's playing a state championship for baseball. Like, we went and sat and watched his game until 10 o'clock last night. Like, we just, as a family, we go and do things. And so if you want that balance, have your non-negotiables and play with whatever the career is. Even if you're an entrepreneur, have that non-negotiable saying, my family will always be number one. Here's the thing. If I go to work today The people who pay for my career. If I died today, they'll replace me tomorrow. Right? But if I die today, my family's at this loss. My family will always be number one. So as a dad, have those non-negotiables that your family is always number one.
Fantastic. This is a very, very valuable lesson. And even if you happen to be so busy and you do not have those negotiable, because let's say your job is owning, I don't want to say owning, but has a bigger control of yourself. So far, the time that you're off, make it an effort to be present. Like you mentioned about the phone. I always mention the same story about the phone. Really, it makes a difference. There's no quarreling with your wife. Your kids, they don't complain that you're not there because you're listening to them. You're with them. So that's beautiful, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
And what are the lessons or values that do you hope to instill your children besides the entrepreneurship, about putting the family first? What else you hope to instill in them?
Love people. That's the number one thing, man.
Yes.
Love people. Jesus calls us to love people. Jesus doesn't call us to judge people. Right. And so I tell my kids all the time, like, it's not my job to judge anybody, but my job is to love you where you're at. And I don't really, those folks that are out there that, they identify as whatever, they can do that all day. Right. My job is not to judge them. My job is to love them where they're at. If they're not hurting themselves or hurting other people, then my job is to love them. And so my kids, they know that. They just love on people. And it's just cool to see my kids actually loving on people. Like, they see a kid at school that's sitting by himself, like at the lunch table, they'll go sit with them. They'll go grab a kid off the playground that's by himself. Like, they enjoy that. And I also, want to instill that, we have freedom in the United States because there is military service women and men that are literally giving their lives for us. Absolutely. And so when we see people in uniform or a veteran, they see me, go up to them and say, man, thank you for your service. And my kids start to do that. My kids start to acknowledge that. Hey, police officer, thank you for what you do. Man, instill that gratefulness in my kids, right? And I didn't have a close relationship with my sister. We're 4 years apart. I'm the older. And my kids are 3.5 years apart. And they are the absolute best friends. And they're at an age where they probably shouldn't be. 13 and 10. Right. There's sometimes an age gap where they don't connect. Right. But my kids literally are the best friends. They this summer they're just like slumber partying in my daughter's room all summer long because they just love to hang out. So instill that love, instill that judgment, like no judgment, instill that, man, we're just grateful to be here and just love on people, man.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I know. One of the, I think it's you two, they were talking about, religion so we can love and hate. But I don't think that's the case. Like, it's always about love. Like I've seen all the religions. Like, for instance, my background, I was born Muslim. There's always love. You always love your neighbor. Like, I know if you're eating and your neighbors, you gotta take care of, let's say 7, 8. Like you about like maybe 7 or I don't know what's the number. People do not do that nowadays. You have neighbors nowadays. They say people they're struggling, but like the neighbor, they're showing off that how well they are without even helping. So we need to bring back that love. This is very important, sir. This is very important.
I agree.
And then also, sir, what after becoming like a father, what has changed the perception? What perspective in life has changed since you became a father?
My priorities changed, man. Right. As a father, I would do whatever it takes to make sure that they are safe, and I will fight for them to the death, and not only them, but for my wife. But I think I'm responsible for them at a young age, right? To to help them, yes, love on people, but also instill in them, like, give them opportunities to go play sports, to go talk with people, go get out of their comfort zone, right? So one of the things that I like to do is I like to bridge jump and cliff jump into the water, right? Like, I won't do it if there's no water. I'm actually afraid of heights, but if there's water underneath me, I'm good, right? But my daughter,
okay.
yeah. So I'm all about that. Like, you know, I think I've done maybe a 60-foot jump or something like that is my highest, but like, I enjoy that adrenaline rush, and my kids know that. And we live 3 miles from a lake up here. And so when my daughter was 10 years old, I said, hey, if you want to jump off this cliff, because she's seen me do that, you can do it. I'll go down to the water and I'll go wait for you. And it was just a cliff that was 10 feet high. It wasn't even that high.
Right.
But for her at 10 years old, that's a big cliff.
Of course, yes.
And so I said, I'll be right here in the water for you.
Right.
And man, she got up there, she kind of looked down for a second, and I said, you land right next to me and I'll grab you. And she had a life jacket on, but I said, I'll make sure that you're okay. Right. And she jumped and she landed right on top of me and slammed me in the water. And, I mean, it was so cool to see her overcome this fear, right? Like I want my kids to understand, like, yes, there is fear of water, there's fear of heights, but you can overcome some of those fears. Right. You know, we go zip lining and it's 480 feet in the air, and my kids are 10 and 12 years old, or 9 and 12 years old, and they're zip lining, you know, almost 500 feet in the air. And they had to overcome that. They're like, scared. Do I go with Dad first? No, you can do this, right? And we clip them in, and just to watch their smile light up, man, like to teach them to get out of their comfort zone. Right. I think we grow when we're outside of our comfort zone. And so I really try to instill in that. I'm like, always be learning.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Sir, I know we're out of time, but, you know, I still have 1,000 questions for you, but, you know, I would like to really have you back as many times as possible, and hopefully when I grow up, I can show up at your show. So, you know, I have a question. You know, maybe, you know, I want to develop something for dads. You know, this is still part of the podcast, if you don't mind. You know, like, you know, where you are, it seems to me that we can have a lot of activities there for dads. For instance, I know there's, you know, the issues with gun. You know, you have a lot of freedom there. I love it. As dads, we need to know these things. So maybe we can promote this information. You know, maybe we can collaborate, you know, and create something for like dads about that. If you know, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think dads need help, all the help they can get. There's an amazing podcast out there called the Dad Up podcast.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And man, I'll tell you, if you want some just real raw, amazing knowledge from a Christian father, right, Brian Ward, the host of the Dad Up podcast, is a guy that you need to have on your show. I've listened to stories
too from your show. Yes, I've listened to him. It was amazing.
He is an amazing man. Yeah, man, I think dads need all the help they can get, whether that's a Facebook group or a in-person meetup, man. Right. You know, anytime that you can get a group together, especially like if they're like-minded, right? Whether that's a Christian or non-Christian, but they just want to like grow in their entrepreneurial space, whatever. Right. Like bring dads together. I think that's so important to do. Right. And you know, I went to a thing at my church just about a month ago called Man Camp. And they do it every year. And there was 242 men that went to this camp. Amazing. And we had 10 baptisms, and we had countless men give their life to Christ and break chains of addictions and just releasing forgiveness and things like that, right? Like, it was so cool. So I think the best way for men to grow is to connect with other men that are whether in your church or have a like-minded of just being a great dad. Right. And so that's the best way that you can do that, man.
That is beautiful, yeah, because nowadays we see that the society is falling apart, so we need to really fight back by raising beautiful, strong-minded men as dads, you know. But anyways, my dad told me before he passed, avoid politics, but what I'm saying is something that is very important, you know, because I don't want my son to come into this world and being influenced and becoming, not a dad, not a strong dad or a dad that is going to run his family, protect his family or something like that. So, sir, thanks so much for your time. I truly appreciate you. How can people find you, sir?
Thank you, man, so much. It's truly an honor to be on your show, man. You have a great show. People need to be listening to this, man, and God's doing some awesome work through you, man. So keep going, man. I think this is an amazing show. If you want to get a hold of me, it's just erikallenmedia.com. It's ERIKALLEN media.com. I'm on Instagram. It's just Erik G. Allen. Again, that's ERIK. And I just love connecting with people, man. If you got a question, shoot me a DM. I respond to every DM. I respond to every comment. And love connect with people, man. So thank you so much for having me on your show, man. Truly an honor to be here.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So dads, we have this episode. Go ahead and listen to it and give it a like 5 stars if you're listening on the podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe. And if you're Instagram, etc., follow Mr. Allen, as well as as Dadpuzzles and many other great fathers channel that you mentioned. For instance, Dad Up. I love the gentleman. I listened to his story. He's an amazing guy. His background in like in the service. We thank him for his service as well. So thank you so much, sir. I look forward to having you back again so that dads can get more inspiration, because I meant to break down your introduction, because your introduction was very, very crude. Like there's so much going on there. I wanted people to see how far you're coming from. So
Yeah.
this is very inspiring that you can come from a broken home and still make it. And do not give up hope. If you're whatever faith you have, I'm sure the folks in your church or mosque or synagogue or like whatever belief you have,
Yeah.
go to that, or go to the people that has good mind in your society, not necessarily the folks that are putting negative, like negativity in you. So we don't want that. We want to have a society that is positive and living peacefully together, because this has been like this, since back in the days, when, men were real men. So we want us to get back to that. So thank you again, Mr. Allen. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you. Let me stop here. 1 second. I